Alright guys, this is a Longplay review for H.E.R.O on the Amstrad CPC, and this is actually an unofficial conversion of the Atari 2600 Classic, which was itself was released in March of 1984 by Activision, programmed by a guy called John Van Rysing. Now this version on the Amstrad was done in I think 2005 by a chap called Flynn, who also did the WinCPC emulator. And yeah, it's sort of been released quite 10 years ago now, and not many people know about it being on the Amstrad, and it's an absolutely fantastic conversion. There we go, we just completed the first level there. It should be pretty obvious what this game is about if you haven't seen it before. You control your hero there with a helicopter backpack, laser mounted helmet, and he's rescuing miners at the bottom of a mine shaft or cave system. You can drop dynamite to blow up walls, use your lasers to shoot the baddies. And in fact, if you run out of dynamite, you can use your laser to shoot through the walls, but it takes a long time. You've got a power bar there, of course, which is slowly trickling down, going down faster the more you use your laser and backpack. And there's 20 levels in total. When you complete the 20th level, it goes into Pro mode, and it sort of loops around the levels again, I think from level 13 onwards, I believe. And that goes on indefinitely, I think, until you reach a score of 1 million. And famously in the Atari 2600 version, the score just changes to a load of exclamation marks. Although people who bought it at the time were told in the manual that something very special happens, and that's all it was, and there was a lot of angry people at the time. Because I think the programmer never thought that anyone would manage to get that score. It is a really tough game, but it's hugely fun, very simple, but lots going on, and it's one of my favourite games of all time. And I was so happy to find that someone had done a conversion to the Amstrad. Now they've modelled this on the Atari 2600 game. There were later conversions to the more powerful Atari machines, the Commodore 64. Even Spectrum. Most versions had updated sort of graphics. For example, the Commodore 64 version has more detailed caves. There's like sort of stippling effects on the walls there, rather than just block colours. But Flynn here has kept it simple and has just done a conversion of the 2600 original, which is absolutely fine for me. I think he's done the right thing there. You know, doing unofficial conversions in your own time. You know, people don't always have a huge amount of time to dedicate. So he's kept it simple and made an absolutely fantastic conversion. The graphics look fabulous, albeit simple, but hey, this is a 2600 conversion. Great sound effects. No music, but there wasn't any music in the original, and it plays like a dream. It isn't perfect. Now, controlling the backpack here is not as good, and it's not the same as the 2600 original. It's actually a lot harder to control. Now, how can I explain the controls for the helicopter backpack if you've never played this before? Oh, I'm just using the laser there because I ran out of dynamite, so you can use the laser to get through walls. Right, explaining the backpack controls. It's not immediate, so if you push up to basically turn on your helicopter backpack, and it's not immediate, so you don't suddenly just fly up as soon as you push the up direction. There's a delay of a few seconds, usually about 2 to 3 seconds before you actually start flying in the air. But then it's all about controlling your height and descent, especially where you've got some really tricky caverns to navigate. And there's a kind of a rhythm you need to do, sort of to hover, keep hovering. For example, here's a tricky one here. You want to get down just enough to get below. I'm finding it really difficult. On the Atari 2600 original, which I've been playing recently, it's a lot easier. And you can sort of feather your descent by pressing up, then up, then up, if you get the right timing. It's a lot harder on this version, and becomes an even more of a problem later on when you've got walls like these flashing red walls here, which are basically will instantly kill you. They're lava walls, I believe you call them. I don't want to get too close there and I wasted a stick of dynamite. Now there will be parts where you're going to need to sort of fly underneath a big lava block without your head touching the top of it, and that's where the real problems come in. That was the challenge in the 2600 original, and took some skill to beat. It's going to take a lot more skill in the Amstrad version, and we'll see that in the later levels. One thing that's missing actually on this version is the rippling water at the bottom of the cave. Instead, we just get either just basically a purple line there, or a blue line, or green line. In the 2600 version, it had like undulating waves and stuff like that. But you know, that's not a major criticism. Just something that was missing in this version. Now, H.E.R.O itself is like an acronym. It stands for, apparently, Helicopter Emergency Rescue Operation. And I will give you the backstory of the game from the back of the box. Okay, Roderick H.E.R.O, which is the guy you're controlling, has the rescue equipment ready, but he needs your help to rescue miners trapped below in the labyrinth of shafts surrounded by lava. You will need your laser and dynamite to make your way through crumbling walls invaded by deadly creatures. Will these tunnels be their tomb? Go get them. So, a pretty simple backstory. Rescue the miners. A bit of a tricky landing here. And of course, you don't want to be too close to the dynamite when it blows up, otherwise you lose a life. You can gain bonus lives, it's to do with your score. And the 2600 original, I think it was either 40,000 or 60,000 points you get a bonus life. I'm not sure on the Amstrad version because I've not lost a life yet, and I'm attempted to do this long play without losing a life up to the end of level 20, and I just about managed it. But I think on some of the later levels I had to start the level again a couple of times. The Amstrad version is really tricky, as already mentioned. Yes, ports of this game you could find, well, the 2600 is the original. It went to the Atari 520 and just the 8-bit Atari 8-bit home computers like the XE and XL, with updated graphics, a bit like the Commodore 64 version. Like the caves are not just one block of single colours. There's a lot more detail to them. I like the charm of the 2600 original though. I like it a lot. I think it still holds up to this day actually. It also went on to the ColecoVision, the MSX, even the ZX Spectrum got a port. Doesn't look brilliant, but it plays really good. And also, strangely, the Sega SG 1000, which was like Sega's first really console computer before the Sega Master System. Although they'd replaced the helicopter with just like a bog standard jetpack, and I'm not sure why they've done that. The game is also just a little bit different as well, generally. So there you go, a really popular game for the time. Obviously the conversions were done in 1984. The Amstrad CPC was released in mid-1984, so missed out unfortunately on getting a conversion, an official one anyway, which is a real shame. Thankfully Flynn's come along to save the day himself. Ah yes, of course, yeah, you touch the lanterns and the caves go dark. That's a neat little feature. I think that was added in right at the last minute in the development of the original H.E.R.O, according to the programmer John Van Rysing. There's an interview with John Van Rysing in the current issue of Retro Gamer, the one with the Neo Geo on the cover, and there's a whole piece on the history and making of H.E.R.O, which is a really good read, and it was actually the inspiration and prompted me to do this long play. I'd already done a video of this game before in my channel quite a few years ago, but it kind of went unnoticed a little bit. So I'm dragging this up again and doing a proper long play to bring this to your attention. But yeah, the Retro Gamer article is well worth reading. There's no real special insight there that I would want to add in my commentary here. I'll just say read the article, it's a really nice story. Whoa, that was close. I hate those sections. What I'd actually mention that sort of I remember from the article is that this wasn't a hugely big commercial success at the time. When it was released, it was at the beginning and during the big sort of video game crash in the early 80s, sadly. So perhaps didn't get the financial rewards that maybe John Van Rysing was hoping for. And also perhaps as not well remembered as say like Pitfall. But those who had the game loved it, and probably loved it as much as Pitfall, the other Atari classic. In fact, in playtests, H.E.R.O rated as highly as Pitfall did, according to John Van Rysing in the Retro Gamer magazine article. So yeah, if anyone recommends, well, if anyone wants to get an Atari 2600 and is asking for game recommendations, you know, everyone will probably say Pitfall. But they should also add H.E.R.O to that. Okay, things are starting to get quite tricky now. Lots of lava walls. I'm getting a little bit panicked there about touching the wall, and I've wasted a stick of dynamite. Yeah, occasionally some dead ends as well. But the game isn't completely unfair. I'm gonna hover really. Oh yeah. In fact, those walls open and close a little bit slower than the Atari 2600 version. Actually, they're a little easier to do. Only just though. Only just slightly easier. and there's some very minor differences. If you've played the 2600 version a lot, you'll probably spot a few things here and there. Ran out of dynamite. Use your laser to blast through the wall. Yeah, these bits are a lot harder to do than on the 2600. Also, the raft here, it stops when you get to the end, but on the 2600 version, it moves back and forth continuously once you sat on it. But handily on the Amstrad version, it stops when it reaches the end, which makes things a heck of a lot easier. I'm moving pretty quickly there, to be honest. I'm taking a big risk. It's a good idea to take your time in this game. You know, don't rush into levels because you can easily get killed quite quickly by an unexpected thing waiting for you. That's close. Ah! But watch out, your power does start going down a lot quicker as you get to the higher levels. Perhaps I should have got rid of that nasty first, took a risk there. But it's quite difficult to get down there and shoot that thing. Okay. Just moving to the far right edge of the raft there to give us a bit of breathing room to fly up. And yeah, the raft doesn't move when you get back on it, so it just moves in one direction and stays there. Unlike the 2600 version. It should be near the end of this now. Now this is a real tough bit. This is really hard to do, a lot harder than 2600 version. To basically fly underneath a big lava block like that and control your height. Unfortunately, Flynn hasn't got that mechanic right, unfortunately. Although I can't complain, it's a free game, you know, it's a public domain release game. He's done a really good job here. That's only I think that would be my only major niggle. Some little minor ones here and there, which, you know, I'm not bothered about. The sort of the backpack mechanic isn't quite right, and it could do with a bit of tweaking. Oh, it's the first appearance of that creature there. Can you see him in the water? So yeah, difficult to pull off that. Now on the Atari 2600 version here, you would have to get rid of that bat first, because you would have moved right into it. On the Amstrad version, you're just a little bit to the right and down, which means when you sort of move off that platform, you're not going to end up falling into him. So little minor differences here and there. Choice of routes there. Got to be so careful with your joystick. It's quite sensitive. Sometimes you only want to move just a little bit forward, and you can very easily end up going too far forward very easily. Same on the 2600 original though. Yeah, we want to be going upright. Nasty cave. Yeah, oh, that was really tough. That is probably one of the toughest bits in the game, because you didn't want to be your head didn't want to be touching the ceiling there back then. because of that creature you needed to shoot before you go back up again, because if you're too high up your laser won't hit him. So then you need to drop down just slightly, and then yeah, even that bit's tough. Level 19, the penultimate level. After this, the final level, level 20. Some tight spaces to squeeze through there. But I hope you guys enjoy H.E.R.O as much as I do. I absolutely love this game. I even still play the 2600 on my Android gaming tablet quite a lot, actually. Via an emulator, of course. And you know what? The Amstrad version is really, really good fun too. So if you haven't checked it out before and you're a fan of the Amstrad, go and download this. You can find it on the CPC Power website, as always, link in the description below. There's also a website for Flynn himself. It's called Flynn's site, and it's wincpc.ch, and you can find it on there too, along with some other bits and bobs he's done, for example the WinCPC emulator. I can't remember if that emulator's any good or not. Oh, this cave's tricky. So I haven't used WinCPC in years. Always use Win8 pretty much. Anyway, this is the final level. And it's gonna throw everything at you that you've come across so far. Yeah, just getting myself lined up for that drop through then. Yeah, watch out when you go back up, there's a creature there. Oh, this is tough. Very tough. Have a little breather. I've got to get past that thing though. It's better if you move over to the left there, there's a bit more of a gap in room. Okay, we're coming to the final section of this level now. Ooh, difficult. Because we don't want to drop straight down, because you will drop straight onto that beastie's head in the water. We took off first, then let ourselves drop down. And that's my method in the Amstrad port. Very close as well. I'm going to fly up and then let myself drop down, and I was like probably tapped up a couple of times as I was dropping down, just to try and feather my descent down. Drop, feather, up, done it. There you go, that is H.E.R.O completed. And as you saw there, it goes on to Pro mode. You only flash up briefly before we see the score. This is basically, I think, level 13 again. What score am I going to give this conversion? I think I'm going to give this wavering between 8.5 or 9 out of 10. And I would have given it 9 out of 10, but I don't think the backpack, well, the helicopter backpack mechanic is just right. Oh, sod it. No, I'll give it 9 out of 10. It's a wicked conversion and everyone should try it out. There you go. Thanks very much, Flynn, for doing this conversion. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. More videos from me to come. Lots of Amstrad stuff coming up eventually. And see you again soon. Thank you very much. Zypho, out. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click a like below, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you haven't already. And over that way, there's another video for you to check out. Zypho, out.